This next topic area is topic area number 3, nail enhancement using a form, and you do get 30 minutes to complete this topic area. Before I read the instructions, let's go through in your SCC manual the items that are needed. So at the top of the list, you have sealed odorless or builder gel product and a lot if needed. So this is something that I've worked on for the past couple of semesters, trying to find the most cost-efficient way for the students to have what they need for their test, but maybe it's somebody that isn't going to be focusing on nails and doesn't have a bunch of nail products. This odorless kit is on Amazon. It is called Goldfinger Odorless Acrylic Systems. When you first arrive to your exam and they're asking you for your 2 forms of identification, they are also going to ask you for your disinfectant wipes, and then they are going to also ask you for your odorless product. What they are looking for is that your odorless product has a list of all of the ingredients on it, that it is labeled odorless, and that it is sealed. So this product comes in this, I don't know what to call this kind of package, but it just opens right up. But each one of these products, the liquid and the powder, also have a foil seal on the tops of them. And so this would work. All of the ingredients are on it. What I have learned about odorless is that it can be challenging to work with. So if you have an odorless kit like this, you would also need to have dapping dishes for each one of these products, because it would not be sanitary to dip out of these containers and put it right on top of the client. So you would have to have 2 dapping dishes. You would also have to have your acrylic brush. You would need your primer and your dehydrator, as well as any of your files and your buffing blocks that you may need. Now, there is a popular kit that a lot of students buy from Sally's, and it has everything in it that you need, but it costs about $40. There is a kit on Amazon for polygel that is $12.99. It is that Models brand. It comes with everything that you need to complete your polygel except for the form. That would be really easy for you to figure out. I'm sure that you could even take a couple of those from school. And it comes with your brush. It comes with everything except for the UV light. So that kit is $12.99, and they do make the UV lights that charge. The one that I'm going to be using for this section of the exam, it's about $20 on Amazon, but there is a Melody Susie one that is rechargeable, and it's almost like a flashlight. It looks like and it's a quick cure. Oh, JK, I set my 5-minute timer already. So it's a quick flash, and it's $10. So if you want my opinion on it, I would recommend you taking polygel. It is easier to work with because it's not going to flood the cuticle. You can get it exactly how you want it, where you want it, and then cure it with your light, and it is the way that it's going to be. Odorless may not set up at all. It floods really easily. It takes a really long time to cure, and it is just a product that's a little bit more challenging to work with. So if you have to buy the Sally's kit, you're looking at a $40 expense. If you buy the Models kit off of Amazon and the other lot, you're looking at about $22. So it's about half the cost, and it's an easier product to work with. I think that is a no-brainer. And then you'll have a flash cure lot for even if you were doing, gel polish, even on yourself later on. So that is what I'm going to be using is builder gel, a poly gel. And with your polygel product, it does not have to be sealed. So the product that you buy before your test, you actually can work with that product, know exactly how it's going to work for you and how you're going to use it, and then take that same product with you to your test. So the decision is yours, but that is definitely the way that I would approach that. For this section of the exam, beyond your odorless or your builder gel product, you will also need paper towels, a nail product brush, a nail file, a cuticle pusher, a nail form, your dapping dishes or dapping dish, alcohol wipes, a small set of like manicure scissors work fine, and then extra nail tips or glue. So having that in case the nail does pop off. You have 5 nails and hopefully not all 5 of them pop off, and you still have one that you do the nail enhancement on, and you are only having to do the nail enhancement on one nail. So we're not doing the nail enhancement on all the nails. So your artificial nail procedure is going to be to sanitize your hands, remove the items from the bag, place the bag into the single-use bag, sanitize the client's hand, perform a hand and nail evaluation, place the form on one finger, do the procedure for the artificial nail enhancement, so whichever product you're using, sanitize your hands, push back any cuticles, and then follow instructions for the nail enhancement product that you're using. Remove form and place into the single-use bag. Use an alcohol wipe if needed, and then shape with the nail file and the buffing block and turn the hand towards the examiner to show that you're complete. The instructions that will be read off to you for setup for topic area number 3 is this evaluation is nail enhancement using a form. 5 minutes will be provided to set up your workstation and prepare your client for a nail enhancement using a form. The proctor will announce when there are 2 minutes left to finish. When you complete your tasks, please stand quietly. You may start. Timing begins now. Okay, I'm going to start my timer. I'm going to sanitize my hands and get my nail enhancement bag out of my kit. So remember, each time I'm getting in here, I am sealing this bag up. So here's my products and my lamp. I'm going to seal this bag up. And then I'm going to, again, I'm going to lay out, I'm going to do 3 layers of paper towels this time. If you have the dental bibs that have like the plastic liner under them, something like that would be great for this section as well. Some feedback that I had gotten before, particularly with the nail enhancement, was that students could be marked off for being really messy with their monomer, and so the amount of monomer that you remove off of your brush and really having monomer all over your work area. So you want to be mindful of that during this. So I've got a buffing block, a nail file. Here is my slip solution. I'm using the Gelish brand Polygel. Here's my alcohol prep pads. I have a couple of nail forms here in case they get stuck together. Here's my other Polygel product. There's my little scissors for my nail glue. I have a small dapping dish for my slip solution, an orange wood stick that I'll use to clean up around the cuticles, and then my Polygel brush. I'll put that in the bag into the single-use bag. And then my light is a chargeable light. It has to be one that charges because you may not have access to a power strip. So make sure that your light is charged. And then I'm going to sanitize my hands. And then that completes that section with 3 minutes remaining. I have brought the chair back because you do get to sit down whenever you're doing this section during your test. I'm putting 20 minutes on my timer. The instructions that will be read off are 20 minutes will be provided to complete a nail enhancement using a form. The proctor will announce when there are 10 minutes left to finish. When you complete your tasks, please stand quietly. Start your nail enhancement using a form. Timing begins now. So I'm going to start my timer and I am going to sanitize my hands. Something that I haven't said up until this point is you do not want to have your hands in your pockets whenever you are finishing one section. If you are somebody that likes to stick your hands in your pockets, or your scrub top has pockets, I would either safety pin them closed or sew them closed so that you can't put your hands in your pockets. You want to stand with your hands in front of you. If you do put your hands in your pockets, make sure that you sanitize your hands before you get into your kit or before you touch your client. So I've sanitized my hands. I'm going to sanitize my client's hand, and then I need to make sure that I do that evaluation again. So what I'm really going to be looking for at this point is which nail is going to be the best for me to do the enhancement on. And I am going to do mine on the pinky. It looks like it is on there the strongest. So here is my form. This is something else that I really encourage you guys to practice this step, because placing a form on a mannequin hand can be tricky. I like to go ahead and pinch the corners at the free edge before I put it under the nail, but you do want to make sure that that form is all the way under the base of that nail, and sometimes it is at a little bit of an awkward angle. So picking that hand up and making sure that it's completely under the free edge on both sides before I pinch it all the way shut, and it's really attached to the finger there. Be happy with the way that your form is on before you start getting your product out. Okay, I like that. So I'm going to, yeah, okay, that's good. So leave that just like that. Now I need to get some of my slip solution out. I'm going to put just a small amount into my dapping dish. Put the lid back on. Set that out of your way. And then I am going to use my buffing block to etch the nail just a little bit so that it has a surface to adhere to. And then I'm going to use my prep pad to remove any of that dust that was left behind. And I'm putting that immediately into the single use. Same thing with my nail form paper, throwing those into single use. That way I'm just keeping my work area clean. Use my orange wood stick to push back the cuticles, 45-degree angle. Orange wood stick now is in the trash. And now I'm ready to apply my polygel product. So I'm gonna open both sides of my brush. Most of these polygel brushes are gonna have a spatula on one end and then your brush on the other end. Open up my polygel. I am going to squeeze out a little bit of product, and then I'm going to scrape that off with the spatula and apply that bead close to the free edge. And I did put my spatula in the slip solution just to make sure that my bead didn't stick to my spatula. Then I can use the brush, put the brush into the slip solution, remove the product from one side of the brush so that it's not as wet, and then I am just going to pat the product towards the cuticle, blending it down into the shape that I want it to be in. And if you have too much product, and I definitely do, I'm going to go back with my spatula and I'm going to remove some of that product, and then I'm just going to wipe it on my paper towel there. And you have plenty of time. So right now I still have 15 minutes. I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to look at it from the side to make sure that there are no lumps, and I'm just kind of swapping out because I want the least amount of like filing to happen as possible. So if you go ahead and get it the shape that you are happy with, you're not going to have to file as much, and that's the scary part because that's when it can pop off. I'm happy with that. I'll grab my lot, turn it on, and I'm going to do a 90-second cure on the nail. I am just going to like rotate it around a little bit to make sure that that lot is able to cure the product all the way. Still have 12 minutes left during this section. Okay. That was the 90-second cure. I'm gonna use the spatula to tap to see if it is cured. Okay. Going to put my thumb on the bottom of that, pinch the form, and pull that form away from the nail. And then now the form can go in the trash and I can start filing. I just have a little bit of cleanup to do because the shape I'm really happy with. So I'm going to go on the side wall there, on both sides. And then I'm just going to use my buffing block. Now I'm going to use my alcohol prep pad to clean the nail off. And I dropped it in the floor. What a good example. So now I'm going to set my client's hand down. And if you drop something in the floor, this is how you should treat it. So I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to throw it into single use. I'm going to sanitize my hands before I go back to my client. So now I'm just making sure that I'm happy with the shape, and I am, and I've got her all cleaned up. I'll turn her hand away from me, and then I will put the lid back on my product. Dry off my brush. And if you don't get to do these steps because you work all the way up until time is called, you are going to have the section after to clean up this area. So that completes that, and I still had 9 minutes left remaining. I am going to bring this nail just closer so that you guys can get a look at it. I'm not a nail tech, so it's not perfect, but it's on there. It's not flooded into the sidewalls. It's not flooded into the cuticle. she's a little thick, okay? But it'll still pass. So if I can do it, you can definitely do it. We're still on topic area number 3, and the instructions that will be read to you are: we will now continue the nail enhancement using a form. 5 minutes will be provided to clean up your nail enhancement using a form workstation. The proctor will announce when there are 2 minutes left to finish. When you complete your tasks, please stand quietly. Start your cleanup. Timing begins now. So I'm going to 5 minutes on my timer, start. I'm going to sanitize my hands, and the first thing that I'm going to do is get a paper towel, and I'm going to soak up all of that leftover slip solution with a paper towel, with one paper towel this way. And then this paper towel is going in single use. But now I'm going to get a clean paper towel to wrap up my glass zapping dish and put it into my multi-use bag with my file, my buffing block. These are going into the trash. I'm pretty sure that that file is a sanitizable one, but I'm gonna put it in the trash anyway. Here's all of my solutions. My lids are on, and my lamp. These are all going into multi-use. And your hand is also going down into your multi-use. All of your paper towels are going into your single use. So for this section, I am going to put on a glove and use a disinfectant wipe, only because I did set a couple of things down in the FAQs that PSI sent us. They did state that you're working on the same client throughout the exam. But just to be precautious, I am going to clean this off my work area, because now we're going to get into the aesthetic services. And it also just makes sure that I don't have any dust or anything left on my workstation from doing the nail. I'm going to stop my timer.